I found myself in this position to invest in a coach. Everything in my soul was saying to me, you have got to do this. But nothing made sense in my bank account. I even went in the negative to make my first deposit for my first coach. But my seasoned queen was like blaring in my heart drum, you've got to do this. Hire someone who can help you shift your perspective and support you in getting on your path, your life's purpose.
Welcome to the Big Money Influencers Podcast. We talk with top influencers and experts to help you navigate and prosper in your business. It's all about creating wealth, legacy, and an online presence. Here's your host, Ceanne Livingston.
Welcome back to the Big Influencer Summit. I'm your host, Ceanne. I have the pleasure to talk with April Breezy. I'm so excited because she is such a powerful woman, has so much to share with you. She is the creator and founder of Women's Empire. She's a powerful force. Welcome to the stage, April. In a nutshell, what do you do?
Yes. So I have coached women for 7 years, and I love mapping them through what our experience is called the Queen Eats First. I love to work with women who are business owners who are looking to increase the power behind their ability to produce as a mother, as a wife, and to accelerate their results in their business.
That's awesome. You talked about working with women. Do you work exclusively with women, married women with kids?
I work with women only, and some of them are married, some of them are divorced, but all of them typically have children. Only on a rare occasion, if maybe they can't have children or just haven't been married yet, those can show up. But I work with women who are married or divorced typically.
When they come into the program, where are they usually at as far as where they're at in their life? What are they looking for?
One of the biggest reasons that women come into Women's Empire is they are looking for more power in how they see themselves and act, and also in how their capacity to create and produce, where that capacity is at. So the very first principle we coach on in Women's Empire is your health is your first wealth. And I specialize in creating voltage in a woman's adrenal system because the adrenals are the battery of the body. The women that I love to serve have high passions and high desires. And so the voltage in their body has got to match that passion, especially because they're fulfilling the myriad of roles as a business owner, as a wife, and as a mother. And that energy has got to last all day long. We really start breaking down the physiology, obstacles that are in the way that are preventing them from working longer hours or creating projects and tasks or collaborating on more projects or opportunities so that they can get done more in less time.
That's amazing. How long is your program?
Queen Eats First is a 2-day live event right now, which I am increasing to a whole week in the fall. Then they are here with me and my team live, and then they're with me for 90 days afterward.
In like an online space?
Yep. So we have weekly trainings and coaching support. And then we also have live workshops or masterminds that we are going to be starting in the fall as well. I'm kind of in the middle of a big transition, actually, in extending the live face-to-face mastermind experiences as a part of their full investment.
Can you share some of your own journey from what took you from where you were to what made you create this program to empower women?
I had 3 children in 18 months. My oldest is currently 13, and I have a set of twins that are 12. So when they were young, I found myself having 3 kids really quickly, and we were living paycheck to paycheck. And that was really hard for me. I am a go-getter. I have an executive personality. And so sometimes I would even create a boardroom in my laundry room because I really had such a sincere passion to make big things happen. Finding myself in this place where it was hard to go to the grocery store. I would have one baby on my chest, one baby in the car seat. This is before electronic grocery orders. Now you can order your groceries online and even have it delivered to your house.
Right.
But back then, and then I had one running around, and it was just so much energy just to go to the grocery store. to go to the park, to go to the library, for heaven's sakes. It was a lot of work. So I found myself in a pretty deep pit of depression. Also had experienced the death of my father when I was 16, and I'm the oldest of 5 girls. And so I had been a co-parent with my mother for a long time as a teenager. And then I got married, and then I had 3 kids really quickly. And I just hit rock bottom.
Wow. So there must be like something different, because I remember I have what's called Irish twins. So I had 2 babies, no car, running them around in a wagon to the grocery store, being a single mom and struggling. But I never even thought about paying the rent, getting to work, paycheck to pay, barely surviving. But I never even thought that there was an opportunity to like empower other people, or even just knowing how to lift myself out of the place I was, to like years later. So that's, what do you think separates someone like where I was, with just like struggling to survive, than to like pull yourself up and not only level up yourself, but helping other women? What do you think the difference is?
For me, it was these moments of betting on myself, where I would listen to what I call my seasoned queen, that future version of me that had successfully experienced more cash flow in her bank account. It was easy to get groceries. It was easy to have a marriage on fire, because that was definitely also a big pain point. My husband was always working just to provide for 3 kids. I know for me, in the moments that I started to shift, it came down to a decision to listening to the inklings of my heart and the passions that I had in my soul, and then taking the risk to make those things happen despite current levels of time, energy, and resources. And I found myself in this position to invest in a coach, and my soul, everything in my soul was saying to me, you have got to do this. But nothing made sense in my bank account. I even went in the negative to make my first deposit for my first coach. But my seasoned queen was like blaring in my heart drum, you've got to do this. You've got to hire someone who can help you shift your perspective and support you in getting on your path, your life's purpose. I feel like the difference is your ability to listen to those feelings inside and then do something about it.
Did you like hire a coach and then it was like instant success, or how long did it take?
It was not instant success. It took me about a year to really implement and integrate everything that my coach had to offer me. And that was a 90-day experience. And it was like I got fire hosed with all of these amazing skills and principles and mindsets. But it took me about a year to fully integrate them and implement them. But once I did, my husband was just so happy that I was willing to lean into the tension, that decision, that I held to my wisdom, and I was willing to bet on myself. And then the whole time I was just repeating to myself, I'll just show you I'm going to win. I'm not going to tell you I'm going to win. I'm just going to show you that I'm going to win. One of the principles I really like in high performing leaders is this aspect of necessity. Regardless of how that necessity comes, good high performing leaders have necessity. And at that stage in my life, I had a lot of necessity. It was essential for me to take action on everything that I was being taught, because I wanted out of my pain. I wanted out of living paycheck to paycheck. I wanted to get out of hoping that everything was going to work out, and I wanted to get into strategy that things were going to change. That really supported me in making the effort to do whatever it takes for as long as it takes. And that's actually one of the principles I teach in my seasoned queen identity. That seasoned queen version of me is willing to do whatever it takes for as long as it takes.
Learn the secrets entrepreneurs can use to create wealth and legacy. Discover exactly how the top 1% are building financial success, wealth, and a legacy quickly in their business. These are the only secrets you need to create wealth and legacy when it comes to building your online presence. When you visit bigmoneyinfluencerlive.com, you will get free access to the exclusive Big Money Influencers Live Business Kit. It teaches proven secret strategies that successful entrepreneurs are using daily to create wealth and legacy in their business. Foolproof methods established business owners are using to live and build wealth and legacy. We know you're busy, so we have convenient audios, which include foolproof methods established business owners use to build wealth and legacy. Easy to follow binder notes. And if you're ready to 10x your online presence or ready to take your business online, you can book a call and discover how to get started. Visit bigmoneyinfluencerlive.com. That's bigmoneyinfluencerlive.com.
That seasoned queen version of me is willing to do whatever it takes for as long as it takes because of that siren in her soul that keeps beckoning her forward to do this thing or to go and experience this or to make this result happen in her life.
Talk about wealth, and wealth is like so many different ways. It can be like financial, it can be in relationships, and your balance, your health, with your relationships with your kids, with your husband. How did that impact you once you went from finding your fire and a year later after that?
A lot of them were small and simple at first, because the momentum behind that so new and different for my family that it almost felt like weird to acknowledge in the beginning. And I teach this in my business. Whenever you're making such drastic changes, you kind of enter this lone crusader experience, and your entire friendship circles change because you change. You start thinking differently than the people that you've been associating with, and you break out of codependency and you start living co-empowerment principles, and you stop gossiping and toxic talking about people, and you start building and contributing instead of sitting in comparison or judgment. So that first year of making big changes was actually pretty rough. It was difficult for my husband and I to realize my new dance steps. I was still learning my new dance steps, integrating so many success principles. And he was just like, I don't even know what we're doing. Like, I just see you, but I don't know how this works for me. And why that was really crucial is because it created the frame for both he and I to determine if how we were operating in the past was working and where we were going, what we wanted to change. A lot of times, my husband and I would go to conflict or go to collision. And that actually birthed a piece of my content, which is conflict is neutral. We choose to take it to connection or contention. And I started to be receiving this like inspiration on how to help women navigate conflict, because most women like to people please and push hard things under the rug and go to bed happy and try to make everything workable and easy for our spouses or our family. And sometimes that's the opposite of what actually our family needs in order to grow. So I found myself leaning into a lot of experiences that were full of tension, actually. My family didn't understand some of the decisions I was making, the risks I was taking, the way I was speaking, the way I was thinking. And so a lot of times they would just not actually want to be around me because they were used to a different version of April who operated in codependency and neediness. I had a hero complex. That's the form of codependency that I really function in, is I'll be your hero. I can save you. You have a hard thing. I can solve your problem. No worries. And so that's what they were used to me showing up as. So the first year actually was full of a lot of tension. And that's really normal for anyone, especially women who are choosing to integrate more conscious principles and mindsets. Your entire friend circles and your influence circles are just going to change. And so sometimes that feels a little bit like a lone crusader, where you're the one who's leading from the front, something new and different in the experience of your life. And you're like converted that there's a purpose and a reason behind that. But sometimes it's very tenuous for the people that know you directly when you start making those changes.
When I began to level up, I lost very important people to me, not wanting to be in that circle. And I could have made other choices. Looking back at getting a divorce and creating a new life as a single woman, I could have definitely made other choices. So what do you think are the differences between, in your experience, you're still with your husband and you have your family. How is that rise? Your husband must have rose and you all rose together.
Yes, there were some pivotal conversations that he and I got to have where he consciously got to choose, because I created this environment that it was safe for him to rise through my example and my consistency. It wasn't easy and it wasn't natural and it wasn't comfortable at first for him. So we actually use this analogy a lot. My husband and I, we would see ourselves like sitting on a beach. I was constantly telling him I would like to go out and hunt whale, like out on the ocean, and I need to go and explore and create and experience things. And he was always like, I'm totally comfortable just staying on the beach and managing the ranch. I don't need to go out and hunt and explore and see new things. And so I used to take that in my codependency frame. I would take that as rejection. Something must be wrong with me that you don't want to do that. When we started integrating new principles, what we realized was that it could be and I can go out and hunt and he can stay here and it's totally fine. And he could come with me occasionally and I could stay occasionally. And there was a conversation about A-N-D is such a powerful word. And that's what started to open up our dialogue to keep asking this crucial question, which was, what else is possible? So that shifted our communication style from a codependency, co-empowerment to a co-creation style. And so we were constantly asking ourselves, I hear that you value these types of experiences. I hear you value this. How do we get to create a win-win for each other without negotiating or compromising? How do we create those experiences that you value, even though we don't value the same thing per se, but we were committed to creating a way to honor that within one another. And the biggest choice my husband had to make was to realize that his own self-worth was his responsibility. My self-worth was my own responsibility. There's nothing that I can do to make him happy, and there's nothing he can do to make me happy. And once we truly understood the depth of that principle and owned with accountability and responsibility our opportunity to build our own self-worth and our own identity, it's like we could get each other out of the way that we were trying to like help each other or save each other. And then we could just connect and create solutions. But that came through lots of collision, lots of hard talks, lots of vulnerability. So that's something I teach pretty heavily in Women's Empire, because a lot of women don't know how to lean into that conversation naturally. They lack that skill. But that was one of the skills that was birthed inside of my pit.
Trying not to get emotional is it's so powerful. This conversation is so good for me personally. I know with working with a lot of powerful entrepreneur women, it's hard to be married to a spouse that maybe doesn't understand, maybe they have their own programs running. It's something that's definitely a conversation that needs to be had. You're having it and you're teaching, and that's amazing. How many women have you had an opportunity to impact, come into your movement and influence?
Over the last 7 years, it's in the thousands that I've been able to support. And through those 7 years, we've been building, I call it an army of queens. And those queens know the difference between power and force. They recognize their seasoned queen and they hear her guiding her. They know that conflict is neutral, and they've been practicing the skills in how to navigate conversations and choose connection instead of contention. They value the voltage that we place inside of their cellular structures so that they can continue to produce the results and the goals and the targets that they desire. One thought that just keeps coming to my mind is just how valuable, even for women who are business owners, to have the skill of conflict is neutral when you're hiring new employees or contractors, or you're working and collaborating with other artists. It's just so crucial that a woman recognizes how to honor herself and honor her value, honor her identity, and then lean into those places where we see differences of opinions and we see creation expressions differently. And when it's not always a good fit, being able to navigate that conversation and moving forward without running through the guilt and the shame and depleting your storages of power because you're guilting and shaming yourself for weeks and days and months sometimes after just those intersections of time with those opportunities to grow. They are constantly coming. So I've worked with women who have been through divorce, who have addictions, who have adrenal fatigue, who have experienced infidelity issues from her side or her spouse's side, who have experienced sexual abuse. My team is pretty practiced in working with a woman, regardless of her background and her experiences, just really co-empowering her to building her to her next level over and over and over again, and that she has sustainable voltage, vision, value, and vigilance to continue to get her to victory after victory after victory.
That's awesome. So we're like, where do you sign up? Where do you sign up? Actually, can you share with the audience where they can apply for your program? And if they want to work with you, what their next step is?
Yes, if you go to thequeeneatsfirst.com, you can go there and watch a ton of videos of the women who have already gone through our experience and the kind of results that they've been able to create. You can apply. You and I get on a consultation phone call, and we have a pretty radically real conversation, because it's really important for me to know exactly where things are now for you as a woman and where you want to go. And I love co-creating that with you. I love seeing women win. Our mission in Women's Empire is to waterproof women so that they don't have any holes in their self-worth matrix or in their business plan or in their relationship communication style, that they become whole. That's one of our missions in Women's Empire, to weaponize you with actual tools and systems that yield a return on investment in your body, relationships, spirituality, identity, and business. I actually like creating tactical assets for your business as well. It was really important for me as a woman to go and hire people that I could get the maximum value in the shortest amount of time, because I had a dinner to make and I had sports activities to get my children to. And when I could tactically create a funnel or a Facebook ad or create videography and photography assets and have someone literally hands-on on my business, that was really important to me. We create that experience tactically as well in your business and support you in really identifying your spirituality.
I'm glad that you added the business part, because I wasn't even thinking about that.
We have a certain amount of time, and we just got to create the maximum asset and make those assets work for us, regardless of our time available for social media. And I just love to get right to the meat, get right to the creation and the execution, and so you can get money in your bank account happening.
Well, thank you, April, so much for being with us. I really appreciate you, and your program sounds totally amazing, and the ripple effect that it's making for other women is awesome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's been wonderful.
To discover the secrets entrepreneurs are using to create wealth and legacy, visit bigmoneyinfluencerslive.com. And here's a big ask. If you love this podcast, will you take a minute to subscribe, review, and give us a 5-star rating? Be sure and share with your friends and family. And thank you for listening.